The arena lights dimmed inside Arena Riga, and the noise felt different. This wasn't neutral ground. This was Latvia's fortress. When Mairis Briedis stepped through the ropes, the roar was thunderous. The undefeated WBC champion defending pride, country, and momentum. Across the ring stood Oleksandr Usyk, the southpaw technician, undefeated WBO champion, Olympic gold medalist, the man many believed would dominate the tournament. But belief means nothing when fists start flying. The opening bell rang and Briedis wasted no time. A snapping jab split the guard, a straight right followed. Usyk nodded, but the message was sent. This would not be a boxing exhibition. This would be a war. Briedis pressed forward with sharp counters and compact hooks, catching Usyk clean in the first round. The crowd erupted every time leather touched flesh. Then came the clash of heads. A cut formed. Blood entered the story. Suddenly, the technical chess match had danger stitched into it. Usyk circled, probing with his jab, adjusting foot position outside the lead foot. But Briedis stood firm, blocking high and firing back with authority. Two undefeated champions. No retreat, no fear. By the end of the second round, one truth had already become clear. This would not be easy for either man. The tension felt thick. The atmosphere electric. And the first crack in the Usyk aura had appeared. As the third round began, the rhythm shifted. Usyk's feet grew lighter, his movements sharper. He began touching the body, stepping off at angles, forcing Briedis to reset. But every adjustment came with resistance. Briedis timed him with a right hook around the guard, then dug an uppercut inside during a tight exchange. Neither man allowed the other to build comfortable momentum. It was a fight fought in inches. Every jab answered, every right hand returned. Usyk's southpaw left began threading through the middle, snapping Briedis' head back. But Briedis responded by targeting the body with thudding shots that slowed the Ukrainian's rhythm. The tension escalated in the fourth. Exchanges became longer. Guards tightened. Shoulders rolled. The crowd noise intensified with every flurry. Then in the fifth round, something changed. Usyk increased the tempo. Double jab, step outside, straight left down the pipe. It landed flush. Briedis' nose began to bleed. The Latvian champion, who had started so aggressively, now found himself taking backward steps. For the first time, Usyk held the center. He pushed behind his jab, mixing body and head shots. Briedis fought back bravely, but the balance had tilted ever so slightly. The champion from Ukraine had found his rhythm. Not dominance, but control. And in a fight this close, control felt like gold. Rounds 6 through 8 were pure tactical violence. There were no wasted movements now, only calculated risk. Briedis planted his feet more often, choosing moments to explode with right hands and uppercuts. One clean right snapped Usyk's head sharply, drawing a gasp from the arena. Yet Usyk answered instantly with a southpaw left and pivoted away before a counter could follow. Fatigue began whispering in both corners, but neither fighter allowed it to show. Blood smeared across Briedis' face as he pressed forward, digging to the ribs, trying to slow the Ukrainian's legs. Usyk kept his high guard tight, rolling under hooks and firing combinations in return. The exchanges were no longer single shots. They were volleys, short hooks, quick uppercuts, jabs that landed with spite. The margin between winning and losing a round felt razor thin. Commentators struggled to separate them. It was chess played at full speed. As the eighth closed, the arena buzzed with nervous energy. The scorecards could have leaned either way. And both men knew the final stretch would decide everything. The 9th and 10th rounds tested something deeper than skill. They tested will. Briedis refused to fade. Despite the damaged nose and swelling beneath his eye, he continued stepping forward, launching right hands to the body and uppercuts through the guard. Usyk's output remained steady, disciplined, but the Latvian champion forced him into exchanges more frequently. There was no space to coast, no rounds to steal comfortably. Every second demanded focus. In the 10th, Usyk found a sneaky uppercut inside that snapped Briedis' head up, followed by a crisp left hand. The Ukrainian crowd contingent erupted, but seconds later, Briedis answered with his own right to the body. This was no longer about strategy alone. This was pride. Two undefeated champions digging deep into reserves they may not have known existed. Neither clinched excessively. They fought like men who understood what was at stake. A place in the final, a step closer to cruiserweight supremacy. The championship rounds loomed, and the tension became unbearable. When the 11th began, urgency replaced caution. Both fighters increased output. Exchanges in the center of the ring became furious. Gloves thudded against guard and flesh alike. Usyk circled and fired combinations, while Briedis stood his ground and returned fire with compact power shots. The 12th round was desperation. Final roll of the dice. Briedis swung with conviction, knowing he needed something decisive. Usyk answered with volume, snapping jabs and straight lefts, refusing to concede ground. The final bell echoed through the arena, and for a moment, everything froze. 12 rounds, no knockdowns, no collapse, just exhaustion and uncertainty. The judges read the scores. 114-114, 114-114, 115-113, majority decision, and still undefeated, Oleksandr Usyk. He collapsed to the canvas, overwhelmed not by punishment, but by relief. Because this was the closest he had come to losing. Briedis stood tall, respected, proven at the highest level. That night in Riga did not produce a knockout highlight. It produced proof of greatness under pressure. Without this war, the path to undisputed would not have meant the same. It was the fight that sharpened a champion and showed the world that even greatness must survive fire.